Welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
Now, you are a brand, you teach brands, everything about you is a brand, isn't it?
The first thing about my brand, I'm a very authentic. Brand's about being authentic. It's not bullshit, it's not spin. It's who you really are. So, for me, like right now, as I'm sitting up here, I feel pretty awkward. Because when someone gets, like I do workshops and stuff, but when someone gets interviewed, like when Michael Parkinson interviews someone, he only interviews important people. So they go, why the fuck am I sitting up here? And that's my authenticity playing out in my head. I'm like, I struggle with that I'm sitting here and he's there and why and what, but I'll get over it, okay? So, yeah, that's my brand.
Okay. Well, you are important because you have worked with some amazing brands in your life. I mean, the big ones, Coca-Cola, Arnott's, Microsoft. What is it like to fiddle with the brands of those companies?
The thing was, I studied English and philosophy at university. So my father, who was an engineer, always said, what are you going to do with that? And I was like, oh, fuck, I don't know. But branding's like poetry. When you create a brand, you begin with the end in mind. You tell a story. You create it. You put out the words. You find the visuals. You use beautiful language, inspiring manifesto, whatever it might be, It's a very creative process. So that part of it I love doing. The part that I never liked about it, working for big companies and big clients, was that every single brief, every single task was to grow. Fucking growth. And even Coca-Cola, they want more, and they want fucking more, and they want more. I used to do my head in, because I don't exist for growth. I don't exist for the growth of companies. I don't care if their shareholders get 5 cents more in a dividend. I don't give a fuck. It's not important. So that was my struggle. I was doing this, but on the one hand, everything led to that. So I was a massive like, how do I kind of work this out? And so I hated what I did. But I found it intellectually very interesting and very creative, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I left the industry and I came back and I sold Tintin T-shirts in Glebe Market for 6 months. My son was 3 months old. My first child had just been born. Everyone said, oh, you're so irresponsible. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking kidding me, man. I can't sell my soul anymore, all that shit.
You've broken a brand down into what you believe is 4 parts, correct?
Is that right? 4?
4?
What?
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. I'll name them: marketing, management, culture, and you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, I guess, brand as marketing, which is perhaps the part I think sounds like you hate the most, which is growth.
Yeah. There's brand. I think, in a nutshell, branding is about being authentic, and it's authenticity. Yeah, that's what it is. So if you're a company and you hire someone to make, to develop a brand for you and run fucking ads that say, "Ooh, we're so marvelous," but you don't walk your own talk, you don't believe it, you're not like that, there's a problem, yeah? So the great example of that is the Just Do It company, not so, Nike. So Nike built this brand out of an agency in Portland, Oregon called Wieden & Kennedy. Just Do It, 3 lines of copy written by someone that took him half an hour. Was he paid $5 million for that genius bit of line of copy? No, he wasn't. And they realized the whole issue around the value of ideas. And it's all based on Greek, Olympic, Athenian ideals and all that. And it was an awesome brand, And then social media, well, not social media, email came along first. Remember email when it first fucking came, Like 1998, late 80s, 1991. And then people started doing stuff online a bit. And this whole thing came out that, people were making Nike, the Nike shoes that you paid, it was about $300 for, were being made by a kid in China for $1.25 a day. Remember that story? Some of you are too young to even remember it. You might have read it in a history lesson, It fucking happened. And everyone was like, what? You can't be that company and just do it, and yet that's how you treat people. Like, how does that work? And this played out in a beautiful story where there was a guy. Nike had an online offer. It was one of their first ventures into online. You could order a pair of customized sneakers. You could put any word on the side. They expect you to want your name on it. Richard. So this guy puts in an order, and the order is sweatshop. And Nike go, no can do. Right back there. Sorry, mate. It's got to be. Can't be a colloquial slang word. It's got to be a proper, dictionary word. There was a whole exchange of emails, and they got their sort of corporate affairs people involved, and he flicked the email onto a few mates, and I think 20 million people had seen that email within a matter of weeks.
Wow.
That was the first big power of what Andre was talking about, the actual marketing in the hands of the consumer and the power of the consumer. And it's because of that you've got to walk your talk. A brand is a promise you make and a promise you keep. You've got to keep your promises. So that was where I sort of got into, and that's where it sits for me now.
All right. And one of the big parts that you do work with branding is with the company itself, and I'll put it together, and that is perhaps management and the culture, isn't it?
Yeah. So people think branding is a marketing concept. Like the marketing director does branding. It's like, yeah, you're right. Branding is where you're taking this business, what's the future, what do you want for your people, and what's your contribution to Adelaide, to fucking Australia, to the world? Like, why do you exist? The head of marketing does not know the answers to those questions, okay? I'm telling you right now. The head of marketing is very often not even on the executive. So, yeah, it's true. They get called in to rearrange the pictures on the wall. Yeah? The person who knows the answers to those questions is the CEO or the managing director or whatever you want to call them, but it's that person who's got the reins. Yeah? So it's a conversation with the CEO and his or her leadership team. And that's what it is. That's where it starts, And it's a conversation about what's your truth and, beyond just making money, because, of course, if a company is any good, it makes money, and that is important, but what's more important is, what's your fucking purpose, Why should people care? Why should people work for you, want to work for you? Why should people want to do business with you as a company? And ultimately it leads to, and I just call it very kind of simply, because I think keeping branding simple is good, because companies can't digest too much. They can't digest a 60-point fucking interbrand PowerPoint on their brand. It's like, what the hell, It's got to be like just one page, So keep it really small, keep it tight, keep it digestible for them. So I call it brand on the inside and brand on the outside. You get that? That's real simple. Yeah, brand on the outside is your marketing, your comms, your PR, your stuff, and your brand on the inside is your leadership, your culture, your values, how you behave, how you do business, perhaps your products and services if you're up to look at that, whatever you might do, customer experience, big time if you're a frontline customer, facing company, etc., etc. So I'll do it that way. Yeah.
So how do you sit down with a CEO of a company or a director, his little baby, and he believes his brand is going this way, and you can look at it and say, no, they're on the wrong page there. What do you say to them?
Because these marketing people think they know everything about brands and branding, which really gives me the shits. Because you can't have an interesting conversation with them because they know everything, and they're typically 35 to 39 years old, building a fucking career. Yeah. The CEO, on the other hand, is there. He knows or she knows shit about this stuff. You tell me, mate. It's beautiful working with them. It really is. And so there's not a whole lot of resistance going on. There's not a whole lot of arguing, And I just listen. I don't do research. I listen to them. I talk to them, and I just hear. And they say stuff to me, and they see their business. They see everything in a certain way, and I just listen, and I see, you know what? It's actually that, and they're missing the whole thing. And I present it back to them, and they go, oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, well, that's really good. Yeah, we like that, but it's not bullshit, it's true, So, yeah, it's like that. What I do is I have these conversations, and I call it's the red wine midnight conversation. Okay, that's what I call it. That's my rigor, okay? And I'll interview the exec and have red wine midnight conversations. So, and it's called that, not because it happens at midnight in these it might happen at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, but it's a conversation where, my job is to just, the red wine midnight conversation, you all know, we all have that, it's real. It's one of the most real conversations we'll ever have. We're not trying to impress anybody. We're not trying to bullshit anybody. Our family are there, our close friends, our loved ones, and we drop it. We're just ourselves, yeah? So it's the same thing. That's why I call it that. And the question is, why? They talk about the business first and the numbers and all that shit. Yeah. They're all economists, they're actuaries, they're accountants. That's who they are, You let them get their stuff off, and it's like going, okay, what's the dream? What's the aspiration? What's the hope? What do you mean? What do you mean? I go, well, when you were 19, you were going to university and studying finance and dreamt of being in business. Like, what was the dream you had? Just to make a shitload of money? Was that it? Oh, no, Richard, no. Well, let's talk about that, And it comes out. And that's their truth, really,
Brand you. What's that all about?
Yeah, well, companies don't make things happen. People do. The company doesn't make it happen. The company's just a legal fucking thing with a number, an ACN. It's nothing. It's the people. So brand you is the people in the company, but also, I don't know, I suppose, I mean, brand you know that Gallup did a study around engagement. You know, people who engage meaningfully at work, love what they do, come in on a Monday morning and go, woo, you know, another day to make a difference, to do something. 20%. I was like, oh, frickin' hell, dude, 20%. You know, and some, you know, and I know they have different ways of scoring engagement, and some companies, you know, say, oh yeah, we've got like, you know, 55% engagement. You know, it's really good. It's really good. It's like, yeah, fuck, it's half. You know, so half just hate it. You know, like great. You know, and these are people. You know, like whittling away their lives in these corporate buildings. You know, and it's like, you know, the business case for that is if they're engaged and happy and excited to work, it's, you know, it's kind of good for your business, I reckon. But I don't really care about that side. I know that'll happen, but I'm interested in people. You know, I was like, is this what it's going to be? You know, you know, wake up, consume, buy, eat, fucking die. That's it. Thank you very much. You know, like, I mean, am I just working to pay my bills so my kids can do the same thing? Am I? You know, it's like that's it. You know, I assume that's not it. That's why there's, you know, all these young entrepreneurs who are going, yeah, fuck, man, bring on something else. You know. Because there's an appetite, there's a hungry spirit, you know, for more than that, you know, and that's what brand you's about. But I think it's real hard to be that way, you know. It's about self-belief, you know, and all those things you've got to have, you know. And but so that's what brand you is, you know, and that's really, and that plays out one-on-one. It plays out, you know, if I do a workshop for a company, at the end of the day, the way to connect somebody to what the company is about is through their own brand and their own identity and what they want to be doing, and doing it that way. So brand you always comes into it. You know, it does.
Okay.
You know.
So if somebody's got those 4 pillars correct in their startup business, anybody in the room here gets those right, how do they then make a noise to get their brand out there? What's the best, most effective ways?
Oh, God, man.
Because you've just told...
No,
you've just told us
the
marketing guy, don't listen to him because he's an
No,
idiot.
no, it's the marketing guy. No, well, it's more heart than head. That's the first thing. Don't think what you're selling is some rational, fucking clever thing, because it's not. It's all here, you know. It's heart. There's what something does, and there's what something means. You know, what something does is the pure functionality of it. You know, like my G-Stars. I tragically paid $280 for these jeans. I could have got 3 pairs of Levi's for these. But why do I wear the G-Stops? I get this groovy G-Star feeling, man, you know? You know, whatever, diesel, you pay more. And you go, well, yeah, I'm an idiot. Well, what car do you drive? You know, what you got? You know, what do you got, the Yakko on? What, you know, like everything we pay, it's hard. It's very hard. So I think that's the first thing. You got to sort of think of it as it's something that affects people, you know? Like when Andre was talking, you get that. You know, it's not like a rational, it's a fucking, he's like, yeah, you kind of feel it, you know. It's like, that's what's burning behind it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when you brand yourself, you've got to stand for something. You really have to stand for something. And we don't do that very well. You know, we just don't. It's like, hey, who do you want me to stand for, mate? Oh, yeah, who do you want me to stand for? And our politicians are masters at that, because they don't stand for anything. And that's why there's no leadership in this country. Everyone goes, where the fuck are the leaders? It's like, well, they don't stand for stuff. What do they run focus groups, don't they? Who do you want me to be? What should we say? What should we do, guys? You know, and they poll it, and then they run their campaigns on that. You know, they don't stand for anything and go, you know. And the thing is, if you stand for something, there's a risk. What's the risk? The risk is someone's not going to like it. Someone won't like what you stand for. And that's why everyone's afraid to stand for something. Because you stand for something, you're going to piss someone off. You know, right now, I'm pissing somebody off. Okay, I fucking guarantee you in this room. It just comes with the territory, you know. But I'm not here to be a people pleaser, you know. You know, popularity is for mediocre people. You know, that's a part of it. You got to stand for something. You're not going to be popular. You know, pick your niche, pick your focus. That's what Andre said. It's the same. You know, just go for it. You know, your passionate crowd of ambassadors. You know, and whoever they are. You know, it could be your friends, your mates, the people who actually believe in you and support you for the way you are. So you got to stand for something, yeah? One thing, stand for something. That's about it, really, mate. Yeah, talking about it.
Falls away pretty quickly.
Stand for something.
Yeah.
And I think be consistent. You know, branding, when you get to the actual discipline of it, you know, You've got to stick to your guns. I think the way branding's been done, if you think about branding and the way that brands are built in Australia, it's not very well done on the whole. In other words, what are the great brands that have the same positioning, the same tagline, the same fucking great campaign that's been running for 40 years? You know, like The Economist, you know, and like Absolute Vodka, and like, you know, iconic stuff. What happens in Australia is, oh, we've got a new marketing director. Okay, fire the agency. Let's get a new agency in. Let's change the tagline. Yeah, fucking good idea. And we'll change the whole positioning as well, you know? And that's what happens. You get this inconsistency. You know, right now, I don't really know what Qantas stands for. I mean, do they still stand for the spirit of Australia? I don't know. I'm not feeling that quite. I haven't seen the, you know, singing the opera ad for a few years now, so I'm wondering if there's something else. I don't really know, but they've got a really cool agency called Droga doing their work. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't seen anything. They're probably being paid millions, you know, so I don't know. Like, it's lost, you know. It's not a good example, you know. That's why you got consistent. You know.
All right. For anybody that's thinking about a startup in the room here, though,
What?
planning and creativity, what's more important? Planning or creativity?
Oh, no, you need to have both, you know.
What's more important?
You know the whole brain thing, you know, the whole brain, you know, left brain, right brain, you know, left brain logical, right brain creative, they say. And the Herman whole brain, Herman came along and divided the brain into 4 sections. So the left's got like a sort of on the left brain there's like the sort of process getting from A to B, getting things done, yeah, sort of project management, make it happen, you know, just do it in that way kind of person, yeah, fuck, you know, on time, on budget and all that. And the other part is setting objectives and measurement outcomes and all that. So it's sort of more finance side. So that's the left brain. The right brain, there's sort of 2 parts. There's sort of heart, spirit of team, humanistic, you know, love, and come on, guys, we can do it, you know, sort of inspiring leader. And then the other part of the right brain is kind of yellow hat, you know, blue sky, imaginative, conceptual thinking, yeah? If you look in business, you know, people have preferences, very clear preferences to where they like to sit in terms of that. But typically left-brain people, like, you know, the sort of more suited, stitched-up, formal, logical people, think the right-brain people, the kind of hearty ones and the creative ones are just fucking dickheads and smoke too much marijuana, you know. It's like, guys, get real, man, get real. You know, this is business, you know. And those guys think that the other guys are just uptight, you know, guys who just, you know, wear ties to keep their souls from leaving their bodies, you know. You know, and the truth is, and so you get that sort of conflict, that tension between commerce and creativity, you know, between the plan and the creativity or whatever. You know, you get that everywhere. And I think all need to have, you know, all left and right, or all 4 need to sit at the table. So if I've got a team, I'm working on a project, you know, you've got to have the imaginative, you've got to have the person who's kindling the spirit, you've got to have the person who's going to just do to make it happen, and you've got to have the person who's doing the measuring and the numbers and stuff. Well, you've got to have a hacker and what's the other one? Hacker and a hustler, you know, in a way as well, you know. So I think all those skill sets need to have a place. And the same with a brand. I mean, you can't build a brand. You know, a brand's going to be a right brain kind of story. You know, it's going to be heart and imagination and creativity. Oh, my God. But it's got to be based on a truth. It's got to be based on something that is in the left. It's got to be based on, you know, it's got to be a bullshit. You can't just say something and it's not true, you know. So I used to actually do branding for wine brands. It was really interesting. I was thinking on earlier on, and I did like Seppelt and Wins and Lindemans and stuff. I don't drink, okay? So, and for me, if I'm making a wine brand, I've got to build the brand story of the brand on a product truth, you know, like something that's in the fucking product, you know. I didn't drink, and I smoke anyway, so even if I did drink, I wouldn't know the difference between one and the other. So what I did was I got, you know, wine tasters, when they write notes, they write beautiful, some of them are really very, you know, like a bit like Byron, you know, quite poetic, you know, and the adjectives they use are very original. You know. So I used to go get the wine tasters' notes, like for Seppelt, and I go, okay, and then I'd build a whole strategy out of that. I mean, literally, just take the words and use that, and then tell stories out of that. And I was like, oh my God, man, Richard is awesome, you know. That's what I did, you know. So that was very left brain in terms of trying to find a fact, a truth, and then pin the whole thing on that. So all need to have a seat at the table in terms of that cognitive preference. You've got to have planning, you've got to have commerce, you've got to have creativity, you've got to have, you know, people that love making it happen. You know.
So how do you measure success? Because most people in business probably are saying that it's the bottom line. So there's a lot more to it. In culture.
Well, success is quite a big thing, and I talked about it in my workshop this afternoon. You know, what is the definition of success, and what is your definition of success? And is it your definition, or is it your mom and dad's definition of success, or is it your school reunion's definition of success? So when you rock up the school reunion, you go, whoa, yeah, man, you got the Price Waterhouse Coopers gig. Woohoo, you're a winner. Because, or you're a fucking lawyer. Look at you, Are you happy? Fuck no, but hey, you're a lawyer, So, somebody's definition of success might be, I want to be happy. And it's like, that's it? That's naff? And it's like, no, that's pretty fundamental, I'd say. So, this entrepreneur, I don't see myself as an entrepreneur at all, because I think entrepreneurs, in my head, I suppose, are people that make money. Somehow, it seems to lead to that. But maybe not. Maybe an entrepreneur is somebody that lives, can afford their lifestyle. It's not about making money, but he's somebody who's true to themselves and their own purpose, and does what you believe in. Whether you make $500,000 a year or $5 million a year, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're surviving and you're happy. And so maybe that's the entrepreneurial spirit. Suppose you have to build a great billion-dollar empire. That's never been my motivation. So I feel like a bit of a, if that's the sort of entrepreneurial holy grail, then I'm a total fraud. I should not be here.
Going back to some of the briefs, though, that you would have received from some of those big companies, they would have an outcome that they would require, which means success. Was it those sorts of principles?
Oh,
was it more to do with...
No. I'll tell you what. QBE, QBE Insurance, okay, like the 10th biggest Australian company, 16,500 people, 52 countries, etc. So I worked with them, in 2012, had a new CEO coming in. The last one had been there for 15 fucking years. And it was really stale, okay? And everyone knows that, I'm not talking out of line, okay? New guy comes in, he's 48, he's got a lot of money, he doesn't need to work, but he's got a thing, he's a pom, he's like edgy, he's ambitious, And so sort of here we go, Now, the few things, the thing for them, what I got there, so there's a global CEO and there's 5 regional CEO of North America, CEO of Europe, CEO of fucking Asia, CEO of Australia, CEO of South America, like more CEOs in a room I've ever had in my life. 6 of them, fucking CEOs, And they're all shitting in their pants because they've got a shareholder thing in 3 months and they've got to show a number to the shareholders, And in the last few months, of course, QBE's numbers have been disastrous because they had some big fuck-ups in America. So I'm trying to say to these guys, hey, don't worry, these other stuff. So what I did was this, okay? You've got 5 sets of stakeholders, That's a good thing. You've got your shareholders, You've got your people who work for you, You've got your business partners, which for them are brokers, really, You've got your customers and clients, direct customers. You've got the communities and countries in which you operate and do business, let's say. And they've always had shareholders number one, because every company's legal responsibility is to do that, in a sense of the final output. Here's the delivery, here's the number, here's the dividends to shareholders, okay? But the thing is earning money for shareholders an input or an output? Okay, what the fuck are you saying, Richard? So I'm going, okay, what I'm saying is this, Are you building a business so you can have a good number next year in March? In fact, it's this week. I think it's tomorrow they're doing it this year. Or are you building a business that's going to leave a 10-year horizon that's going to leave an amazing legacy? Okay, that question. So I go, well, sort of both, really. I go, well, that's correct. So how much of your time is focused right now on next February? It's like 98%, There's not much legacy building going on, is there? I go, no. And therefore, your whole focus is around shareholder and shareholder return. Yes, it is. How do you think your people are feeling about that right now? They're feeling the pinch, mate. The pain, jobs are low, etc. How do you think your brokers are feeling about that? They're getting a bit shitty because we're fucking upping our rates and they're not happy. Yeah, okay, this is what you do. You're putting a squeeze on everyone else's balls so you can hit your number. Let me tell you another way of doing this, okay? This is the other way. The other way to do it is to build a business people love, okay? People love working for, people love doing business with, people love having in their communities, people love buying from and all that, That's what you do. If you build a business and that's a long-term thing. That's a 5, 10, 15, 20-year thing. You build a business like that, your shareholders will be very fucking rich, okay? Not next February, but in the long term. In other words, that becomes an output as a result of what you do. So there's sort of 2 ways. So therefore, the priorities are your people first. They make it happen. Without them, you ain't got nothing. Then you got your customers and brokers and stuff, Then you got the communities and the world place which you do business, and then you got your shareholders. So I'm not saying it's like shareholders isn't an input. Shareholders is not a key thing up front. When you do all the other stuff, that comes and they get rewarded. That's the order of it, and they got that. And they well, I believe they trying to do it like that. But anyway, they're still very consumer shareholders.
What's the one word that you dislike the most?
Word?
Word. One word that you dislike the most.
Oh, man. God. I suppose no.
No, you can't?
No, just no, you know. Just no, you know. It's just such a... And don't, you know, that whole thing, don't. It's a great thing. I worked at... My first job was at Saatchi & Saatchi in London. And, there's Charles and Marie Saatchi. You know, Charles is the guy who divorced Nigeria, got the art collection. Well, they were there, cruising around the buildings and at the time. So there was kind of heady. All his artwork, like, hung around our offices. In fact, my boss gave away one of the paintings because he hated it. And somebody came in to audit the Saatchi collection. He said, "Where's the, fucking Kandinsky that was supposed to be in the corner?" It's like, "Sorry, mate, we gave it away." But I worked on the launch of a newspaper called The Independent in the UK at that time. It was a group I worked in. And we launched it with a campaign. The whole campaign was don't. And it was don't. It was, don't cut your hair, don't get too fat, don't get too thin, don't walk on the grass, don't walk on the left, don't walk on the right, don't masturbate, don't stare at people, don't cut your hair too short, don't let your hair go too long, don't be dirty, don't be smelly, that sort of, from big brother don'ts to just whining parents, don't. It's just, because language is powerful. Language creates your reality. If you live in a world and you get told don't, no, you become the don't and the no person. And if you want to be an entrepreneur and do something and just do it, but you've got something in your voice, it's a fucking radio station going don't, because your father said, be sensible, my boy, don't be stupid. That's the big one. Don't be stupid. And Diesel have got a campaign called Be Stupid. Have you seen the Diesel campaign that runs around? Be stupid. And it's all about, don't be stupid is the crusher of possibility. Be stupid. Be stupid comes with an invitation to, invite risk, take possibilities, have fun, go with your heart. That's being stupid, isn't it? But,
What advice do you have for an entrepreneur with a new business idea and about how they create what point do they create their authentic brand?
If you watch the InXS thing at all, and Chris Murphy was their manager. So he was married to a very good friend of my wife's. So I sort of spent a bit of time talking to Chris, like way back. And Chris always said to me, he goes, mate, it's all very well having fucking ideas, but you got to fucking do something about it, Like, everyone's got an idea, so it's a thought that, between idea and inception, it's a big gap, isn't it? No, I've got ideas, but now how? How do I do that? And I guess that's part of what the Institute's about here, and the teaching and the faculty around that is to give you some guidelines and discipline about taking an idea and making it real, and sort of making it happen. But I would say, as you're doing that, your idea, if your motivation for doing this is to make money, you've got the wrong motivation. Okay, that's what I would say. There's not a whole lot of satisfaction and reward in that. I promise you, man. I promise you. You've got to be doing something that's making a contribution. I believe that. These young people in this room here, you want to be part of something. You want to make a difference in some way beyond just fucking making a buck for yourself, That's part of it, sure. And I'm not denying that. I've got a problem with that, But what's that motivation? Are you clear about it? What's your purpose? Why are you doing this, And if you do that, you can enroll people through that, and you will have a very successful business. People will be infected, and they will catch on to what it is you've got, because it's authentic and it's got magic and it's got beautiful energy, and it's like you're not trying to flog some dead bloody horse that no one really wants, but you just want to do it so you can just become rich and go to a school reunion in a Porsche. Because no one gives a shit for that. Well, some people do, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So what is that thing? So you got to come and do the brand new experience with me, yes? Just to help you get a bit aligned around, yeah, man, this is what I'm about, and this is what it is for me. Because we forget that as well. We forget that. We lose that. We get put through school. It's like a sausage factory. We all come out the same, You know what the answer is? It's in the back of the book, man. Yeah. And it's not in the back of the book, It's out there, smoking hashish in Turkey. Yeah. Yeah. Or going across there tonight, and who knows what... It's experiencing life. It's not in a book, It's that.
We've got one last question.
What's the most beautiful or close to perfect or fulfilling or inspiring brand thing that you've instigated or been involved with that you've seen happen?
It has to be QBE, okay? And I'll tell you why, okay? It's very simple. If you work in insurance, you are not proud to fucking work in insurance, okay? Yeah, you get that? You get that. Insurance is like, ugh, it's like, I work in insurance, it's like that. It's like, fail, okay? So what I did was I made them proud to work in insurance. They work in insurance their whole life. So I said to these 6 CEOs, when you guys were young, starting off, 18, 19, 20, doing your, actuarists and all that shit, did you dream of working in insurance? No. You've got to be joking. Exactly. Okay, we've got a problem here because you're an insurance company, okay? So let's look at it this way. Now we get into, so what do you really do, okay? What's the heart of insurance? It's risk, okay? It's managing risk, yeah? And putting a premium on it. So let's look at risk, okay? And risk is a beautiful thing, okay? So in my workshop this afternoon, so anyone's here, I'll repeat the example. If I gave you an iPhone 10, okay, and I said this to these guys, okay, I sort of, and this had a no-risk app on it. No risks in your life. Imagine that, eh? Fucking nothing. You can set this thing, everything, man. You can have everything. Your entrepreneur you want to do, no risks, man. In 5, 10, it'll be happening just the way you want it. Everything. Perfect boyfriend. Perfect, no risks, no relationship dramas, perfect kids, everything. Life you want, the house you dream, it's all there, man. There's no risk. It's set. Off you go. And after 3 months, or a few months, you'll come to me, and what will you say? What do you think you'll say? I'm fucking bored. Dude, this is boring, And they all said that, and I go, yeah, exactly. So risk is not just a thing. Risk is the ingredient that makes life what it is. Without life, without death, death and life, they go together. You live, you die. That's the fucking risk. You can't have one without the other. And it's the same in business. It's the same in everything, And without that, it's not even a negotiable. It's a beautiful thing in life. And that's why many people like you to actually come in, and you love risk, and you make it work for you, and you can run a business off it. And that's a really cool thing to do. So my next question was, so what do you insure? They were like, oh, we do, shipping and commercial aviation. No. What do you insure? Like what? They didn't fucking know. Because they were so out of the trenches. So I'll tell you some of the things they insure. Now, you work for this company, okay? They say, Formula One racing drivers. Whoa! You get decent car insurance for your fucking teenage driver? Well, they insure Formula One racing drivers, okay? Yeah. North Sea oil rigs. There's a nuclear power plant in the Middle East that just insured that no one else would touch. They insure private aviation all across Australia. They're number one insurer of the mining industry in Australia. They insure the MCG. Number one indemnifier of golfing holes in one in North America. How's that, eh? Woo! It's really cool shit. Oil rigs, and so you go. And that's it. That's their business, And this thing of risk is we enable risk. We enable life to happen as we know it. And it's a whole new spin on what insurance is about. And they kind of get it, and the message is filtering down. And I see some of the people who work in Australia for QB around the place, and they just go, mate, it's really made a difference. We feel different about what we do. We walk taller, and we really get what it's about, And I didn't change anything. I just made them see something and helped them see something. I didn't make them. I helped them see something they hadn't seen before, It's a good example, and it's powerful, but it's not just, it leads to advertising, and their whole positioning in the marketplace is made possible by, we have this thing, and we make, this is the stuff, like a testimonial campaign, and there's an insurance company that is an enabler. We make stuff possible. It's not like, oh, we're a big insurance company, and we have lots of assets, and, safety and peace of mind, like it's boring. We're like front foot. We fucking now, man. We're Aussie. We make it possible. We make it possible. The whole energy around that is very, very different. It's quite exciting,